Sam, just trying to be antagonistic, he hit us and he said, not everything is a crisis. Is college football really about to die if we lose spring games? People think the sport changing is going to kill it, but I'm not there yet. Well, Sam, guess what? You are right. Is that what you wanted to hear, Sam? Because if it is, it's a good night for you. You're right. We could take away every spring game, and it would not kill college football. And I get the vibe from your perspective, Sam, that once we admit that, dust off our hands, move on. But I would like you to, Sam, let me grab the back of your shirt. Let me pull you back over here. Sam, could I take you 2 or 3 steps further down the road of logic here? So this is obviously in response to a lot of people debating about spring games, and some programs are either canceling them outright, they're not broadcasting them publicly, they're doing a watered-down version, which isn't new. People have done that for a while. I was at a scrimmage last week, and I assure you, that program got after it and tackled to the ground all day, and it was fairly physical and violent, and none of that will be seen when they play their spring game, whenever they actually play their spring game. So that's not a new concept. However, Steve, I want to ask you, when you say canceling spring games won't kill college football, what are you really saying? Are you really suggesting that anyone ever thought that? I am a big proponent of spring games. So let's use me as an example. You're talking to me. Everyone else just happens to be watching, but it's you and I, Steve. I wish everyone played a legitimate spring game and it was broadcast on national TV and the fans could pack the stands and it was either free or really, really, really cheap to get in, and we could all just have it our way in spring. I wish that was the case. It used to be that way. It's not that way so much anymore, but I've never suggested it's killing the sport. But I would also suggest it's not helping the sport. What is the sport? The sport is really big. And why is the sport big? The sport is big because a ton of people care about it. Those people are fans. The players could still play the game. The coaches could still coach the game. But if no one watched, there wouldn't be nearly as lucrative an opportunity to play or coach the game as there is because of fan engagement. So because a lot of us feel the way we do about the game, it matters a whole lot. And it's worth a whole lot if you're good at it, coaching it or playing it. But the whole, it won't kill you. You ever heard someone say that? A lot of times if you're on a diet and there's junk food in front of you, someone in the back of the room, oh, eat it. It won't kill you. You're committed to getting in shape. You're thinking about skipping the gym. Oh, you can miss a workout. It won't kill you. It won't kill you is almost always a phrase that is used to excuse poor decision making right before a poor decision is made. And that's kind of happening a lot in college football. There's a lot going on right now. A lot of decisions being made, a lot of moves being made, and each individual move, there's someone out there who got access to a microphone and they want to sound like they're intellectually superior to the rest of the room, and they're either telling you one of two things. Either it won't kill college football, or, well, you're going to watch anyway. Yeah, I probably am. You got me, man. I probably am. But Steve, I want to talk to you. I know a lot of people feel this way, so I'm not just talking to Steve. I want to ask you, honestly, I'll give you my answer. Why do you love college football? Why do you love it? I don't doubt you love it. Most people, even if you agree or disagree with me on this, you love college football. You wouldn't be watching a college football show in April if you didn't love college football. So, hey, quick time out. Check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, make sure you do. It's free. It doesn't obligate you or sign you up for anything. It just helps us keep the channel free. All right, back to the show. Why do you love it? Why don't you feel that way about other sports? My answer is because from the time I was a kid, I realized that there was more to a college football team than just the 12 games on the field during the fall. And there was a lot culturally. There was a lot woven into the DNA of the South, where I grew up, but it's not exclusive to the South, certainly not. There are people in Pullman, Washington that feel the same way about Washington State football as there are people in Gainesville that feel about Florida football. So I realized there's a lot about the emotional connectivity between person and college football as a sport and college football programs individually that makes college football unique. It's not that there aren't passionate NFL fans or Major League Baseball fans, NBA, whatnot. I just think college football is one of one in that department. Because of that, there are several layers that form that connectivity. And I'll just speak from personal experience. I grew up, like I said, in the South, so I watched this a lot every spring. I was around and grew up with families that could not afford season tickets to Auburn or Georgia or Alabama or Florida. That's kind of the area that I'm growing up. That included us. But I'll tell you what we could afford. If they were going to open Sanford Stadium or Bryant-Denny Stadium or Jordan-Hare Stadium for free for the spring game, we could afford gas to go up there or over there and back. And you're talking about, I mean, you ever been on the campus of Auburn University in early April? Have you seen what that place looks like? You understand, like, when the trees start to bloom again, and you as a little kid get to go experience, a lot of you are with your dad, a lot of you are with your mom, a lot of you are not just there for a spring game. You probably don't even remember the outcome of the spring game, but 20 years later, you remember walking around campus, and they're showing you, hey, I went to class in this hall so-and-so years ago. Hey, you see that name there on the Jumbotron. When I went here, he was a classmate of mine. There is something being formed between you, a kid, in your formative years, and that university. It could be Auburn, but it could be Ohio State, but it could be Arizona. It's not the end of the world if that experience is taken away, but I remember when I was a kid, I remember it was like at the tail end of when baseball was playing playoff games and World Series games in the daytime. I kind of came along in the broadcast era where they were playing everything at night to maximize television viewership and drive ad revenue. And I remember hearing the older folks tell stories about how, yeah, you're having to wait until 8:38 p.m. for first pitch of Game 2 of the World Series, but did you know they used to play World Series games in the middle of the day? And I remember hearing them say, you know, that's when kids could stay up and they could watch the entire game. And it made sense to me then because I had to go to bed before the games were over. And I thought, man, kids in the previous generation were lucky. They got to watch World Series games during the day. Did it kill baseball to move World Series games to the night? Of course it didn't. But did they lose a little bit of the connectivity of the upcoming young generation and their product because they moved to primetime? Yes, they did. They did. I would argue now, my generation and the generation younger than me has far less an emotional attachment to the sport of baseball in this country because of moves like that Major League Baseball made. They made more money. They profited more in the short term, at the very least. But at what expense? I'd ask the same thing about college football. You're making a lot of decisions right now. No one of them is going to be the death blow. I did Kubelik's show yesterday, not at the scheduled time, but I'll let him explain why. But eventually, we got around to talking about this. And it's so funny because the people who ask these questions mockingly are the easiest to mock. No one out here is suggesting any one of these things is a death blow to college football. No one's threatening to stop watching. If you're a hardcore fan, we're watching until the very end. I'm watching until they literally rip me away from the TV or the sport just dissolves and it is no more. But not everyone's me. Not everyone's a P1 viewer or a P2 viewer. Some of them are P3, P4. There are a lot of people out there who watch the national championship game, a couple of the big games per year. Couldn't tell you who the head coach at UNLV is to save their lives, Dan Mullen, by the way. Those people, that layer of public interest, when that starts to erode away, then what? And then when the second layer, it's like the earth. You don't get to the core until you go through several layers, but those layers are the first ones that you start to lose. And once you get there, it's too late. I don't mean for this to be doom and gloomish or anything. We did that a couple of weeks ago, but there is no one thing that's the death blow to college football. Everybody knows that. But, there is no one donut that you eat that completely wrecks your diet. There is no 1 degrees change, if it's 71 in the room right now, that makes the room freezing. But if I press that button one time a day over a 2-week period, and you've been on vacation, and you come back, It feels like you could hang meat in the office. It's freezing in here. What happened? Well, it got cold because we kept pressing the same button the same way over and over again. 20 years from now, you look at college football. Well, what happened to college football, man? Well, people kept pressing the same wrong buttons over and over again. So, you know, you can either be infantile and make fun of people who make a big deal about losing a spring game, or you can understand it's kind of one page in a book they really love that they'd just as soon not see ripped out. That's the way I look at the spring game debate.